Good morning, everybody. Wednesday morning, and we're here with your real estate and mortgage market updates as I'm waiting for for my colleague David Gazarian to join us in this live. I'm going to let you know that, as usual, we are experiencing the same short inventory in Las Vegas housing market. So if you are looking for a resale home, be prepared to face multiple offers and for the houses not to stay on the market for too long. So our time on the market for the resale homes actually goes shortens right now, and we went for 60% of the properties going under the contract in the first 30 days or less. Go. Just a bit of a technical issue over here. There we go.
Good morning, Alexandra. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. I was just thinking about not thinking, but talking about the market, saying how how our inventory is still a little bit shy of short on the resale market, and of course, a lot of people thinking that it's not a big deal because nobody is barely buying homes. But the truth is that we're still a state that has heavy relocation. And we're still a state where a lot of people are moving. Let's say the retirees, we do face a great amount of retirees from all over the United States, especially the expensive states. I'm talking about like East Coast, I'm talking about California, like the retirees, so those with the fixed income, and they don't necessarily have to be retirees. These are the people with fixed income that are actually changing their place of living just because it is not feasible for them and it's not economically possible or easy for them to live in, let's say, in New York, New Jersey, in Los Angeles, in Seattle, and so on and so forth. Do you guys have anything special for those who are in 50 plus category? Does that in any does your age in any way, shape, or form actually affect your loan?
Besides the reverse mortgage, no, not really. 50 plus category means you should be doing really well financially. So there are no privileges like a first-time home buyer would be. So no. We could talk about the reverse mortgages. We don't do them, but it's a thing. It exists, but no.
Can you tell me if there is an age restriction on the loans?
No, age is a protected class. No.
Excellent. So guys, no matter how old are you or how old are you going to be at the, by the time your last payment is due, like even if you're facing to be like 100 years old, the mortgage industry is not going to discriminate you, and the mortgage industry is still going to issue a loan for you.
They're not allowed to, and I have spoken with someone of our elders, and they've said, David, who would give me a loan? So-and-so years old. They know I'm not going to keep this for 30 years. And I've said, it doesn't matter. You're protected. You could, whatever. Age is not. And I know for a fact, we do talk to underwriters, it would be a huge, huge, huge misstep on any bank's part to look at the age.
Oh, absolutely. And David, I think I told you that we're expanding our team at Nevada Realty Experts.
Yeah.
We're agents. So I would like to introduce a new member. This is
my God.
He's not licensed yet, so he is going to be in charge of marketing.
Okay.
That's what we do, correct? If you have an unlicensed person in your staff, they're going to do marketing.
Yeah, well, I think that'll get a lot of clicks on Instagram. So is that a gift? Did you get it or?
Oh, yes, that's the new member.
Okay.
That's the new member of my family.
Okay. All right. Well,
And
congratulations.
he's helping. Thank you. He's helping a lot. He's helping
Okay.
a lot in
Yeah.
herself over here. So if I start shaking, it means that somebody's biting me.
Understood.
And so, but actually today I wanted to take us through the like through the loan process, because no matter no matter how long you are in the business and I am in the business, people are still asking the same question. There's always going to be a first-time buyer. There's always to be a new generation of people who are who become who actually enter their path of home ownership. So, and this question is never gets old. What are you supposed to do first? Are you supposed to to get qualified for the loan, or are you supposed to find the real estate agent? Like, where does this journey start?
Uh, this conversation I have several times a day. I had this last night, late last night, when a realtor gave me a lead. He's like, David, talk some sense into this guy. He doesn't want to get qualified until he finds the house. I'm like, all right, I will. I call him, talk to him. He's like, David, I don't want to show you any of my documentation before I find the property. I'm like, well, guess what? Once you find the property, there will be probably 5 other people that will be already qualified, and they'll get the property, because that's when you'll be start sending your pay stubs over to me. So you absolutely have to be ready before you find that house. That's like a loaded spring, if you will. You have to be ready. Everything has to be perfect. You see that house, you go in strong. It's a competition. You have to beat out other people. You can't just load your spring when you see that house. All right, I guess I'll show you my W-2s. Well,
And I have to, I can't agree more with you on this. And while you were joining us, I was actually saying that 60% of our resale homes, they go off the market, within the first 30 days. But when I say within the first 30 days, if you look into the first 10 to 14 days on the market, this is where the heaviest load is going to be, because our inventory is very limited. And the moment the new home comes on the market, like, think about it this way, like there's around like 60,000 people that have like active searches set up, and they're actively looking to purchase in Las Vegas metropolitan area at any time of the day for any price category. So whenever the new home comes on the market, you actually get to, it actually goes into the search results of thousands and thousands of people. And so
you'll get that email immediately.
Of course, because this is the number one thing what we use the MLS for. So MLS is the multiple listing service. So any person who works with the real estate agent, with the licensed real estate agent, actually can have their search being set up in the MLS system. And I know that people have their preferred websites. Somebody likes Zillow, somebody likes Realtor, Redfin, and that's all great and wonderful. And as brokers on the listing side, we get to decide whether we want our listings to be displayed on those websites, and usually do. Yes, we actually get to say whether I want it or not. But I can also, I can also put the restrictions as the broker, like if I want those estimates to be showing, or if I want any comments to be allowed on my listings. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. But what most people don't understand, and especially in this, in the short inventory market, is the fact that when you're working with the licensed real estate agent, the agent can can actually provide you way more information, and the information beyond the Zillow or Redfin. Number one, what we can do, we can show you the listings that are in the coming soon status. So what it means that let's say one of my sellers right now is getting their house ready for the market. So this house is going to have like some work done, some touch ups, but I'm putting it into the coming soon status. It is not going to be displayed on Zillow. It is not going to be displayed on other public websites. Only on the MLS and my social media at this point, because we're not marketing it publicly. So it actually gives the opportunity to those who have the searches set up and to the agents to to probe the information and to actually come to me and contact me and get more pictures and get their clients prepared. So they might say, listen, like at this point of time, like our listing is going to go live on Friday, but as of as of Monday, people can actually look it up in the MLS and see the pictures. So that helps you to have like this little bit of edge, like maybe 2 days, maybe 4 days. But I'm not saying that this type of this type of an approach of when you're looking at the coming soon listings is actually, is actually going to save you or going to help you if you're not ready with your loan approval. That is not the case.
No, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's not.
The argument that I'm making here right now is the fact that within a few days, like if it's a good listing and if it is priced right with the short inventory, the way we have it right now, you have to be 150% ready. You have to be 200% ready with your applications in order to, win that house if you really need to. And we know that right now it is the summer break season for the kids, and so we have lots and lots of our clients who are in need of moving, who are in need of relocation, and those clients are looking to complete their moves and to complete everything that they need to with their household chores, including the moving and the purchase before the school year starts, which is going to be in a week now? Yeah.
I have no clue.
It's going.
My son's too. I don't know.
Wait for it. Very soon you will be older. No. I think the majority of our schools start the second week of August. So
okay,
we're almost there. And David, one thing that I would tell, and sometimes people come to me and they're like, oh, whatever, we don't want you to provide our information, so we're going to go to one of those online brokers. And there is actually, I don't know if you came across this commercial on YouTube or not, where the guy says, oh, your broker is lying to you, saying that this is the interest rate you need to, before you get your, before you decide on your broker, you're going to use this application that is going to give you the interest rate and the pre-approval letter without putting in your social security number.
No, that's not illegal. Jesus, okay, all right.
So, but this is I come across this commercial on Instagram and YouTube all the time. And
share it with me.
I would like you to actually comment. Is it possible to actually is it possible, or how good is the interest rate that the person is getting quoted from an online application? And I don't care which banks they use, who do they go to for their interest rate. How accurate that interest rate is going to be if the person is not providing their social security number.
Well, social security number is only for the credit score purposes, because the credit score has an effect on the interest rate. I have a feeling.
So can I ask you then, is it possible for you to quote an interest rate for me if you don't know my credit score?
Well, I will quote based on your answers, on your entries, if you will. Okay. And once everything's checked, we'll tell you, sorry, you didn't give us the right information because you didn't have the right information. We pulled your credit at your score's not 780, your score 680, so boohoo, right? But yeah, it's another gimmick. It's another gimmick, and I tell you what, you may get away with quoting an interest rate. I get a lot of phone calls from Yelp. David, what's your interest rate? All right, fine, I'll give you a rate. That's no big deal. And there's a lot of people that call a bunch of lenders to get interest rates. That is almost never the rate that you're going to close your loan with. So
Why is that?
well, because well, first of all, a rate's going to change. So when you lock, that's going to be a different day. And even when, if experience has shown me anything, when I get information, verbal information's collected from the client nearly never has the accurate information about their income, about their assets, about their down payment, about their credit score.
Not because we don't know, but it's because the mortgage industry looks at this information a little bit differently, correct? Because
it's actually
the score that I see on that website or on my credit card applications, like the credit score that I see on my Credit Karma, if I come to you and I'm like, David, I'm there, I'm at 820, and then you go and you see, like as a mortgage officer, you see a totally different score.
Correct.
And the consumer can actually experience it if you were ever to shop for like 2 credits at the same time. Let's say if you were to put in the mortgage application and the car loan application, you would, and you can have your printouts of your credit scores, and you will see that those 2 credit scores are going to be different. They're going to be different, even though they're both going to say like TransUnion, Experian, or Equifax, but because the mortgage lenders are looking at one score, and the car dealerships or like car loans are looking at the different score, that they're not going to match, even though they're both TransUnion. Am I correct?
That's correct. David? That's correct, because first of all, we have different types of credit scores. There's like 9 different FICO scores, from FICO 2 to FICO 9, or there's, I believe, 10 already coming out. So we look at FICO 245. So if you're going to pull up your Vantage score with Credit Karma, well, no one looks at Vantage score, okay? No, absolutely no lender looks at Vantage score. Hello. And yeah, so nobody looks at Vantage score. We're going to look at FICO 245. You don't have access to FICO 245. There you go. What are the rates? What's your credit score, sir?
Sharon wants to know, but Sharon is a real estate agent, so she wants to know the interest rates today.
Okay, that's exactly the topic of our conversation.
They're still scary. They're still scary as of right now. But David, give us the number.
All right, so I did some reading before we started this live. Rates are north of 7. So in about an hour, 2 p.m. Eastern time, the Fed will announce, and the whole country expects that the Fed's going to add another quarter point to the rates. So yeah, he disappointed me. He's been disappointing me lately quite often, Mr. Jerome Powell. Anyway, so he's going to add a quarter point. So this was something expected for the last month. So banks adjusted for it, especially the past couple of weeks. Once the news comes up that the Fed's going to hike the rates, so banks actually day by day increase the rates. What are the rates? It depends on your down payment, your credit score, all that stuff. I know. I think you meant it as a joke, but they're north of 7. I would say half of our pipeline, we're 7.4, 7.7. I've got no doc loans at 8.5, 8.25, FHA 7.1. Everything's above 7 unless you're paying for it. Yeah. So I'll be honest with you, Alexandra, and our beloved real estate agent.
If I understand correctly, I think it is Shannon Cho. Like, Shannon, is that you? A wonderful realtor who speaks Korean as well. So she's going to tell us if it's her or not, because she changed her.
Raul is here. Yeah.
Raul.
What's up, man? So honestly, when I talk to clients, I'm like, listen, rates, we understand rates are not going to be like this for the 30-year duration of your mortgage. So rates will drop at some point, okay? Rates will drop. So honestly, the interest rate conversation is somewhat irrelevant, Arrow. The interest rate conversation is somewhat irrelevant. Get the house, because when rates drop, prices will go up. And I'm glad to report that a lot of our clients understand this. It is our job, realtors, loan officers, to explain that, listen, if you wait for the low interest rates, low money, cheap money means higher interest rate. You know, you don't want to overpay 40, 50 grand for that house. Buy the house now. Pay the extra $300-400 in monthly payments. It's not going to be forever.
And the truth is that, guys, we don't have to go too far into our past and look at it to know what happens when the interest rates go down. Just remember the pandemic. Remember those 2 absolutely crazy, hectic years where we could not fight, fight strong enough for any piece of property. I mean, like, how many of those, like, internet mounts have you seen, like, with the, with the horrible
overpaying for the house? Oh yeah.
And
there was a house
overpaid for the house. And another thing that we're experiencing right now, the result of it is the fact that, there are a lot of people right now giving the feedback to the National Association of Realtors, saying that they're absolutely not happy with the homes that they purchased during the pandemic. They're not quite happy. They feel like they settled on a house. They feel like, like those people who refuse to overpay or overbid in the multiple offer situations right now, they actually feel that, like they're not in the house of their dream. And of course, they're living in those homes because the interest rates of their loans are so low. Absolutely, Sharon. And that's the thing, guys. If you were a realtor working through the pandemic, you owe it to your clients as a service to actually call them and ask them, are they happy in the house? And here's the thing, don't be scared to hear the answer that they're not quite happy, that they settled for something other than they wanted, because it was the frenzy of the time. But as the as the service providers to our clients, we actually owe it to them to know if they're happy or not, and if we can help them. And the first moment you get the chance to help those people, go ahead and help them. And it could be the case where they can happily rent out their current home because of the mortgage payment being so low, and actually go and buy the house of their dream right now. That could be easily a case.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Raul says, and I agree with Raul, we realtors need to reach out to people. I may not, Raul, if people have 2-3% interest rate, they may not sell right away, but they will probably buy right away. Because to your point, Alexandra, there was a CNBC article. I had it. You can Google it. 72%, I remember the number, 72% of people that bought during the pandemic are not happy with the home. Now, does that mean they'll sell? Well, I have a feeling that 72% of those people are just going to hold on to the 2-3% interest rates, so they're not selling. But to your point, Raul, those people, a lot of them will rent it. Their mortgage is so cheap that they will actually cash flow positive.
They will have
make money, which will subsidize, will help with these high interest rates if they buy a new home. Yes, sir. And I know you can help with that too, Raul.
Absolutely. And I like Raul's, way of thinking.
He knows what he's doing.
Maybe have a call with Raul.
Raul, come work with Alexandra.
Raul, we're expanding our team. So give me a call after the live. So, but yes, it is absolutely true. And if you guys are not a one-day realtor, if you are actually in this business for long term, be aware that you need to know and you need to face all the emotions of your clients, whether they're positive or negative. And the thing is that the truth is that I have the whole list of my clients who purchased through the pandemic. And those clients, I know what they want, I know what they crave, and guess what? I have right now 3 people who are actually, we went through the we went with them through the community activity reports. They're well aware, my clients are well aware what they can sell their house for right now, what they can rent it for, and they can make this decision whether they want to sell or whether they want to keep the house with the low interest rate and actually sell it. Oh, I'm sorry, and rent it out. And I'm well aware of what they're looking for, and they're ready to actually pull that trigger the moment that house comes on the market. So, and this is, like, this is a great thing to have. Like, no, like, I have not seen the house that they're going to like just yet, but it's coming on the market. I know exactly what they want, and I know that there is, if you would, like, a dormant buyer. But this, like, it's up to me, my professionalism, and me studying the market, what is going to trigger that particular buyer to, that particular client.
It's that triangle thing that we talk about. It's the client, it's the realtor, it's the loan officer. If the money has been taken care of, because that's the first thing. Let's face it, that's the first thing that the seller is going to want to know, besides your offer amount. How good is your pre-qualification? So. Have a wonderful day. Good luck.
Thank you,
Sharon. So it's teamwork, and Sharon's going to go to a showing. If she makes an offer, her client, her loan officer, and Sharon are a team. They're going to have to beat out other offers. I'll be honest with you, there are great realtors, great professionals in Las Vegas. There are great loan officers in Las Vegas. I know a lot of them, and they do see how tight the housing is. If the client doesn't get that house, they may not get that house ever.
And I mean, with the tight inventory at this moment, like, it is really, sometimes we have to wait for 2 months for the right house to come. If there is like, the more specific the criteria is, the harder it is to find the property. And when we're talking about the, like, when we're talking about shopping, like, David, what were the interest rates 2 months ago? They were way better, correct?
Yeah, they were about a quarter better, I would say. Yeah, FHA was definitely in the 6s, not 7s. Yes.
So, and that makes the, that makes the difference of the world. So if you guys are really, really concerned about the overpaying, like, I hear it a lot. People are saying, I don't want to overpay for the interest. Guys, you overpay for the interest when you know you need to move, and you either go and, like, you're in the city, you're in the state for a long time, and instead of purchasing your home when you can, you actually settle for renting. This is when you overpay. This is when you pay 100% interest on your, of your bill, because you're just paying the other person's mortgage. That's number one. Number two, you overpay for the interest is when you see the house that you like, you're not ready, you start, like, you hectically start the loan process, and you start pressing on that loan officer, do it faster, like, process my application at 10 o'clock at night because the offers are due, like, tomorrow at 10 a.m. And the, like, obviously the loan officers are going to do their best, and they're going to put everything together as fast as they can. But once again, when you miss that house and you have to wait for another 2 months, this is when you are overpaying for the interest, because you miss your chance to have that interest rate like 0.25% lower when you were supposed to be ready for that house. And that's, that's the long and the short of it. And please don't think that that the agents are silly, or that we're just saying it to, we're just saying it to be mean. We're not. we're like, our goal as the agents, if you guys would, like, and I think that it's the same with the loan officers, as we have like our main goals are going to be to save you time. Like, number one thing that we're doing, we're saving you time because we're professionals. We're taking all the input that you have. We ask you the right questions. So for myself, I could find you a better home. I could find you a better area to be in. And for David, it's going to be, they're going to take all the input, all the information that you have, so that you have this answer, whether you qualify or if you don't, and what is the amount of what is the mortgage amount that you're going to qualify for. So you don't go around looking at the houses that are $800,000 if you only qualify, if you only qualify for $600,000. That could be one factor. The other factor could be that you qualify for $600,000, but with the current interest rate, it doesn't mean that you will need the house for $600,000. You might be more comfortable with the payment for the house that is $500,000. David, am I correct? Am I saying something wrong over here?
Well, no. When we talk to a client, we always ask what their comfortable payment is. No one knows what their comfortable payment is and their budget better than the client and the buyer. So I will make a note, here's the comfortable payment. And we also know that the real estate agent is going to ask what their max qualification amount is. That's what agents do. So that's the ceiling, if you will. So we give the ceiling to the client and the agent. Hey, listen, your max is 480. That's it, 480. You cannot go a dollar higher. That's like the absolute max, or lower.
You would also give me more parameters into it. Usually you're saying contingent that your HOA is this, contingent that the taxes are this, and the insurance is this.
Yes.
Because if one of those parameters is going to change, so the final amount of our approval can change. And once again, guys, this is for our first-time home buyers who need to be who need to be paying attention. So when you get your pre-approval letter, when you get a number on it, the professional loan officer is going to explain to you. It might not be the number, like the final number, as far as you can go anywhere below that number, and you might have some room on top if you wanted to, based on certain conditions. So you need to know, usually your professional agent will ask all of those questions to the loan officer. Like we will have a conversation before I go shopping with the buyer. I will also, on some occasions, I might ask David to produce several pre-approval letters with different numbers on those. David, how many of those requests do you usually get?
Agents have a different style of working, Alexandra, so it really depends on agents and what they prefer. And how they want to negotiate with the listing agent. I'll tell you, I work with 47 different agents. They all have a different style of working.
Absolutely. But I want our clients to know that sometimes I would ask the loan officers to issue several pre-approval letters with several amounts on them. And once again, sometimes we even have the, when we're working with the very, very tight debt to loan ratio, sometimes we would get a conventional pre-approval for one amount, and then if we, if we don't match, the clients might even settle for the FHA as well, because their debt to loan ratio is actually going to be a little bit higher for the FHA, so they might afford a little bit more of a purchase price if that is what they need, if that is what the clients need.
Right.
But let's circle back to our original question. So what comes back? What comes first? The hen or the chicken or the egg?
The pre-approval. The pre-approval comes first. And I'm thinking of, actually, that should be the topic of my next YouTube video. I should explain with some graphics, with some, I'll need to sit down and make a serious case for getting pre-approved before you see the house. I won't tell you a story. This Sunday, a couple of days ago, took our kid. We drove to this little city called Ocean Shores in Washington. It's like by the ocean. It's Sunday. We're having lunch. We're driving back, and a realtor calls. David, I need you to call this listing agent and find out they have like multiple offer situation, and the client absolutely has to have this house. I'm like, what? What? Anyway, so it doesn't matter.
The regular story.
Right.
That's the story of my life.
Right.
Did I ever call you with the different like line?
Yeah. So what happens is this guy saw the house, which is literally a street over from his brother. He wants to be closer to his brother. It's the only listing in Pecole Ranch, and he's like, I have to have this. And we're calling the listing agent. They're like, we have multiple offers. You have till 5 o'clock. Come in with your best. And I'm like, tell my wife, I have to pull over. I don't want to talk to her and drive. So I pull over, God knows where, and I'm calling her. And it's bad reception because we're in the middle of the Washington, forests. And I talked to her, and I'll be honest with you, we got the house, we got the contract, but we overpaid $25,000. The $460,000 home, like the 485, I think the contract came in. So the truth is, this guy had been looking for a house for 6 months. 6 months. He was extremely pre-approved. Had he told us, and he did tell us, by the way, he did tell us, David, I'll let you pull my credit when I see the house. I'm like, no. I've known you, kid. I know this guy. He trusts me. I said, this is not the right way of doing it. Trust me. I need to pull your credit. I need to prepare you. I need to load that spring. So as a team, as soon as you see the house, we got to shoot it. We have to be ready. We cannot prepare. And on Sunday, out of all days, he sees the house. He has to have it. And there's a bunch of people, that are making offers. It's the only house in that beautiful Pecole Ranch. And he got it. And the reason he was able to get it, and we literally, I called Andre, he took his son to the tennis practice. I'm on a freeway. We had to somehow readjust this pre-approval, pre-approve him for $20,000 more to be able to beat out 7 other offers so he can get this. He didn't care. He's like, I have to have this house. I really don't care if it doesn't appraise. But guess what? Guess what that's going to do? That's a 5% appreciation in that neighborhood. That's a comp. A $460,000 house is going to close at $480,000. That's a comp at Pecole Ranch. Other homes from that point on will be 5% more expensive at Pecole Ranch
in this neighborhood. Yeah.
At this rates, with these rates, it's just crazy.
And David, I wanted to, I know you said it as the you said it that the guy overpaid $25,000.
It's such a tricky thing. He thinks it's worth it. He wants that house, and that house is worth extra $25,000.
This is exactly that I wanted to, this is exactly that I wanted to point out to everybody. Is that, guys, when it comes to a short inventory, when it comes to the limited choice, you guys have to think about the different price categories, and you have to think about how you approach the price and the listing price and the offering. So when we say overpaid, when you say overpaid, so if I were to go and buy a pair of sneakers, let's say for $40, if I buy like the Nikes for $40, and then I go on Amazon and I buy them, let's say in Macy's, and then I go on Amazon or I go to the Nike store and I see exactly the same pair, same color, same everything, and I see it for $25. This is where I overpaid. This is where I overpaid, because the same day I could have bought the same exact item for cheaper. This is the pure understanding of overpaid. And guess what? Even these stores now, they have they protect you as the consumer from overpaying, where they go into price match.
Right.
If this is the case. So that's number one. When it comes to buying a property, I always tell my clients, guys, there is a price tag on everything. Like, if you were to dumb it down, or if you were to be like really harsh with your words, I would say I have a price tag on everything, including my people's time, my clients' time. There is a price tag on waiting if the interest rates are going up. I swear to God, I have this guy who is, and you know him, and he is very, very undecisive. So he talks himself out of buying a property. On my watch, it already happened 3 times, where he, over the period of the last year and a half, he talked himself out of buying a house. Every time he pulls out at the, like at the very last moment, like an hour before his, his earnest money deposit goes hard. But what he actually has done, he, over this year and a half, he's like, oh, like I wouldn't like that property. Like, even if you didn't like that property that you didn't know if you were or were not going to live in, and it could have been the second home or could have been the investment property, he was undecisive on it. But at the end of the day, by doing this, like back and forth over a year and a half, he already lost his chance of a 5% interest rate when he just started shopping till now. And he is not, and he's thinking that he's going to get a great deal. He is thinking that there will be this crazy, crazy seller that he's going to bid like $40,000 or $50,000 under, and the seller will be like, oh yeah, why not? Why do I not give it away to you, like pretty much $40,000?
Have you shown him how much prices have appreciated in the last year and a half while he's waiting to find that deal?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And this is, and that's why when I I'm very honest, we deal with all kinds of people, but I am very honest because I'm dealing with numbers, and I can show, I can prove my points, all of the points. I can prove them with the numbers. Hi, girl. How are you?
Oh, you know Vanessa?
So, you can prove your point. You can prove your point with the number. It's not because I said it, and a lot of times people say, oh, you're a mortgage officer, that's why you say it, you're craving for business, or you're a realtor, you're craving for business, that's why you say it. No, I say it because I read the numbers every day, and I just explain in simple words what the numbers are.
I'm in Washington, Raul. Yeah. I'll be back when the temperature drops into double digits.
It's going to be in 2 weeks, so I doubt that.
Yeah, no.
I think you like Washington.
Early September. I still have some fishing to do.
Yeah, so guys, there is a price tag on everything that you do. And if you look over an extended period of time, there is a price tag. There is a price tag if you lose the house, if you think that this is the one, or let's say you're hunting a particular neighborhood. And I think I told that story a few weeks ago. I had my clients hunting a particular neighborhood for 7 months. It was 7 months, and we were very clear on the neighborhood where we wanted to be. And then right now, we closed a couple of weeks ago, when the house came on the market, we paid $75,000 over the asking price.
Christ. If it's worth it, it's worth it. I have paid $37,000 on top in 2021, so it was worth it to me. I still feel good about my purchase.
This is the house where they're going to live. This is their primary residence. Yeah. And it is never an easy decision to make, somebody can say, oh, they're probably loaded with money, and $75,000 was not a big deal for them. It was a big deal, but it was a calculated decision. And the factors that went into that house, you know, like when we were saying, I always tell my clients, we're looking for an 80% perfect home. If you have your list of criteria, you know, like I want you to be able to check off 80% of it.
That's smart.
And if we find the 80%er, that's a great choice, because it is once in a lifetime opportunity to find a perfect home. And this one was actually, like, when we saw it, like when I saw it, I knew it was perfect for them. They haven't seen it yet. So the day they agreed to pay $75,000 over the asking price, neither one of the spouses seen the house. Like, it was like the best they could do is see the pictures and me describing the house over the FaceTime. But that's not the point. The point that I'm making over here is that when we sat down on our Zoom call and we discussed, and it was a hard decision to make for them. This is the first time they're buying the house. We had their parents, you know, like they're younger couple, so we had their parents involved on the Zoom, and we all sat down and we broke down the factors, and we, you know, like we brainstormed, and at the end of our conversation, you know, like the parents were like, guys, if you don't feel comfortable paying like $75,000 over the asking price for this house, they're like, we will chip in. So the parents were like, at the end of our Zoom conversation, the parents were actually convinced that, you know, like that was the house for their, you know, like for their kids and grandkids, because it did, you know, like it was a rare 100%, you know, like this rare 100% perfect home, where it checked off all the criteria. That was number one. Number two, it didn't need any work. It was fully, you know, like it was fully remodeled. And number three, they looked at it and they looked at the school zones and they're like, wait a minute, our youngest is 2 years old. So we're in this house. Like, they're looking to live in this house for the next 20 years. So they're looking to have both of their kids go through elementary, middle, and high school in that neighborhood. And they checked the schools out and they said, we looked at a lot of things, like in Las Vegas and Henderson when they were here, and they were like, when they picked the neighborhood, they realized that they're going to be in this neighborhood for the next 20 years. So, and when they stretched the $75,000 over 20 years, they said it's absolutely worth it today, right now. And you guys think that the conversation, like, what if the price is going to fluctuate and the market is going to go down, didn't come up? Of course it came up. Of course it came up. But this is where the parents tuned in, and the parents said, you know what? We lived in our lives through the timing when the housing prices went up and down. And we're still happy that we kept our house through the 2008, 2010 crisis. They were like, it's going to be fine. You're paying for this house and you're going to stay in it for 20 years. That's fine. Even if even if your estimate is going to fluctuate. So please, guys, if you are thinking, or if your client is thinking that they're overpaying for the house, it means that you're not doing the right job explaining to your client.
Are we talking to realtors?
The true value. Yeah, I'm talking to realtors. I'm talking to realtors because I don't think, I don't think I ever had a client leave with the feeling or stay with the feeling that they overpaid, because my clients are making educated decisions based on multiple factors. So do we know when we pay more than asking? Yes, we absolutely are aware of it. We get the comps, we get the appraisals. We go through the whole process just like everybody else does, but there is a big difference how many factors your clients are considering through this process and how they feel. David, we just had a situation, you and I, where our client paid above, had to match the purchase price to appraised value. Once again, We sat down, not a, like it's not a small chunk of money. We had
Nope.
to, we had to justify a good chunk of money, and we had to restructure 13 things. And what happened? We sat down, the client makes an educated decision that they're in this house for a long time, and they're not going to live out of a hotel room any longer because they already relocated. They're not going to look for a rental or move twice. So these are the factors. And when our client actually considered all those factors, he said, you know what? It is worth for me to get this house today, right now, and close like within the 4 days after the appraisal came low, than to, then I'm going to look into the rest of the market. And guess what? Before we had this conversation, what we're doing, we went online into his search and looked for the alternatives. We explored all of the options, and I honestly presented all of the options to that client and his spouse, so we could make an educated decision. And I have a video of these wonderful people, getting the keys from their home.
I want to say
100% happy, and there was a true happiness on their face. And I know that I will share the video. And I know that, in a few months, I'm going to call them, and it's going to be the same thing. They're going to be happy. Because they know, and they're absolutely satisfied with what they paid for. And guys, there's nothing better for a realtor or their loan officer to know. Maybe the loan officer actually gets a kick when they know that, the appreciation is going up, and the interest went up, and you're in a good interest rate. But for the realtors, there's for me, it's not there's nothing better than knowing that my clients drive home every day and they're happy to be in this house. They think of I love driving home. This is the neighborhood where I want it to be. I'm happy with my backyard. I'm happy with my kitchen. I'm happy with my layout. My whole family is happy. We're happy with the schools. We're happy with the parks, and whatever makes you happy, And that is, that gives us a great deal of satisfaction, and that's why we're, whether the times are easy, tough, or crazy, we still get the chance to work with our repeating clients. Correct. Even when the interest rates are ferocious.
I want to tell you something before we finish our conversation today. I was reading CNBC. There is a very famous economist, Robert Shiller. He's a Yale professor of economy. He predicted the dot-com bubble back in early 2000 actually, because the dot-com bubble was 2001. And then he predicted the housing market crash. And guess what? He's back. And he's obviously, you've probably heard of Case-Shiller Index. So that's based on Robert Shiller. He is an authority on the economy and housing prices specifically. And he said something interesting. This actually makes me happy. A bit contradictory. He says housing prices are, his word is, going to go sideways, meaning they're not going to crash. They're not going to go up like they did during the pandemic, where we had added 25, God knows, 40% in some places in prices, which is horrible. We do not want prices to appreciate that bad. So the biggest authority on real estate said the thing that makes me the happiest. Prices are going to go sideways, meaning they're not going to crash. Relax. You're not buying a $400,000 house for $200,000. Not going to happen. But they're also not going to become $500,000 or $600,000 in a year. So they're going to go like they always have, slightly, whatever. They will have to go up. He didn't mention that. Obviously, it's hard to predict, but housing has outperformed inflation. So inflation being 2 to 3, housing is going to go up 4 5-6% every year, which is extremely healthy. But housing is not crashing. It is not doubling, tripling. We're headed to a very, very healthy housing market. And I'm very happy to hear this. That kind of made my morning.
And I would tell you that, like, I am a big fan of Barry Habib, also one of the great researchers and great insiders for the mortgage business and the real estate market in general. You guys, if you don't know who that is, go ahead and look him up. And recently, one of his statements was very on point about the medium home prices and how the media actually like twists the plot in order to make a more vivid and more catching headlines. So first of all, guys, if you are reading something, even if you are watching the news or reading the article, make sure that you get the exact quote of what the economist or the what the experts are saying, because a lot of times, like, the words are going to be twisted or the words are going to be placed in the in the context that that the media was trying to tell you, and obviously it is going to be it is going to be supplied with the eye-catching headline. But back to Barry Habib, and he was this is the person who works with the mortgage and real estate data all the time, every day. This is what he specializes in. And he was talking about the actual home price appreciation, home appreciation versus the median price. And because of how the headlines want to attract your attention, they're attracting your attention. Like we know that the drama and the fear actually attract your attention more than the good news.
Oh yeah.
So in the market where the numbers actually are there in 2022, nothing crashed in 2022. We had the adjustment. We had an extreme adjustment where over 1 year, over the short period of 12 months, our interest rates literally doubled, which has never happened in the history of mortgage ever before. So, and even that said, and even with this happening in the real estate market, in the mortgage industry, the prices, the housing prices overall went up by 6%.
No kidding.
Even across the country. I'm not kidding. Yeah. That is the data. And the reason, if you look at the number 6%, if you look at our appreciation, thank you, Katya. And congratulations, Katya just got married.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We saw your wedding pictures. So when you look at the pre-pandemic data for the appreciation in Las Vegas and Las Vegas metropolitan area, our normal appreciation is 6 to 8%. Our normal appreciation. What we experienced during the pandemic, this is odd, this is not natural, we hope it never happens again. Not because we're mean, but because I know exactly what it actually leads to. So number one, 6 to 8% normal appreciation. 2022, we did have a 6% appreciation throughout the country. Why did we, then you're going to counter me, with the median home prices. Why did we say that the median home prices went down? Well, guys, if you look on the segments of the market, there's single family homes starting from 0 to infinity, to tens of millions of dollars. And if you look at the luxury segment of the market right now, we have the shortest inventory ever. Las Vegas market of $1.5 million and higher has the shortest inventory. Nothing comes up on the market, and things, you know, like things are barely moving. So that's that the luxury and ultra luxury segment of the market is not moving much. And when that happens, then we have more homes in a cheaper housing and mid-price housing. This is where we have more action. And so our median price is going to move based on, because median is the middle. Median is the middle of what is sold. And when we have the ultra luxury market, somebody sells the house for $250,000, and at the same month, somebody sells the house for $24 million. And the median is going to be somewhere in between, because there will be a house at $600,000, because if we have $200,000, $11 million, and $600,000, the median is going to be not the middle of of the three combined. It's going to be the median home. And that's why we just have more turnover in the market of cheaper homes. And this is what affects our median price. That is the exact thing that affects the median price. Why is that? It's because usually people of a more limited budget are going to settle for a cheaper home. And when you have a limited budget, you usually don't have a choice. Like if you have to move, let's say if you have to change the states or change the state of living, you have to move for work. If you're on a medium, or if you are on a restricted budget, you usually don't have the ability to keep your previous home and buy another one. You usually in the segment of the market where you have to sell one to buy another one. That's it. That is like, you know, you just need to know where the data comes from and look at the data rather than the headlines. That's all.
I agree. Good talk.
It is like, you're talking too much. But David, thank you so much for your support, for your time. Thank you so much for taking
so much.
Excellent care of our clients, because I know all of
I need to call him.
Thank you,
Raul. Appreciate you, brother.
No, you know, I think that like really, we can't thank you and your team enough for all the wonderful work that you're doing for our clients, all the advice and all the support. Like, you guys are amazing, and thank you so much. We know how hard today's times are on you guys, because you get this negativity like every time. Like, it's almost like you get punched every time you quote that interest rate. I can see that, you know, like, and I know that you guys take it personally, but you don't make up that interest rate, you know.
Comes
but
with the territory. It's part of our job. Yeah.
You're doing an excellent job, and thanks God there are tools, and I know that anytime there is a chance, like on our thank you, Raul. Anytime on our chance, like when we have a chance to negotiate with the seller, any penny that we can negotiate for the interest buy down, for the, you know, like any type of a concession, like the difference between the appraised value and the purchase price, we're going to put all of our effort into it. And this is one more reason why, when David tells you it is not your final interest, when you get a quote at your first meeting or in your first conversation, it's not going to be final, because if we negotiate within the contract, we negotiate the seller's contribution towards the buyer's closing costs, that is your golden chance. That is your golden chance to lower your interest rate. And even though those concessions are going way slowly, we're going to fight for them as long as we can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Great talk, Alexandra. Thank you so much. Raul, great. Thanks for being a part of our live, Raul. I'll talk to you later, Alexandra.
Thank you, guys. You have a great day and a wonderful week. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.